Hey guys, my name is Shrikant Nurani. I'm with CA Technologies. I'm a senior engineering architect with APM. Today I'm going to be talking about bringing in the benefit of bringing APM and DevOps together and the whole process of shift left where APM is moved to application development. This is everything that I hope to cover today. We'll look at some numbers and then we look into the challenges that we have today. And then we talk about DevOps and APM, how they are beneficial to each other. And then we talk about CA APM Jenkins plugin. As we jump into our discussion around DevOps, let's look at some highly relevant data. Forrester, according to Forrester, 80% of the time is spent by companies in mean time to what they call as mean time to resolution, right? It's not really mean time to resolution or repair. It's basically mean time to identify. So basically what it means is that we are spending about 80% of the time identifying what the issue is, not even fixing it. Right? That's pretty substantial. Also, DORA, which is DevOps Research and Assessment, Gene Kim is part of that organization, recently released a report where they surveyed the IT leaders, right? And they felt that the leaders felt that with DevOps, they are able to resolve application issue 24 times faster. So obviously DevOps is doing something right. If we look at some of the findings from Wired, where 47% of the users expect the website to load in 2 seconds or less, or from Kissmetrics, where 40% of the users are going to abandon your site if it takes more than 3 seconds. Right? So what does it tell us? It tells us that the customers are ever more demanding. They have choice, right? And the old and the traditional way of doing things not going to work, right? So what are those old and traditional way of doing things? So if you look at this slide, this is our waterfall methodology where everything is sequential, where teams are working in silos. The dev completes its code and then throws it over, so to say, over the wall. Dev throws it over the wall, so to say, into QA. There is not much collaboration happening. You can see that there are inherent delays built into the system, right? There's a lot of opportunities for introduction of defects, right? And also, it could lead to application outage, right? Last year, CA Technologies teamed up with Information Week, and they surveyed about 400 or so IT leaders who have embraced DevOps, right? And 45% of them feel that with DevOps, Ops is actively working with development, right? And then 34% feel that there is a joint sign-off between development and operations, right? These are pretty dramatic numbers, but the one that I really want to focus on is the one in the middle where it says, or the one on the right which says 66% of the leaders feel that with DevOps, they are seeing an improvement in the application quality, which is pretty dramatic, right? So what is DevOps, right? You'll probably agree, there is no one concrete definition of DevOps, right? To me, it's like a three-legged stool, right? Where each leg is representing people, process, and technology, right? There are cultural and technical aspects to it. There are cultural and technical practices, and I've listed some of these cultural and technical practices here, right? And to reap the real benefit of DevOps, all these have to kind of work together. So if you talk about some of the cultural and technical aspects, there's Agile, right, which is an incremental approach to developing software. You've probably heard of continuous integration and continuous delivery. I'm not going to talk about each of them, but in the context of DevOps, we talk about Agile, continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. But the thing that we do not talk about, and I kind of want to spend some time today on that, is the one at the bottom of the screen. That's application performance management, right? And I feel application performance management is as important, if not more, to DevOps as any other the practices that are listed here, okay? So for those who are new to APM, application performance management is a discipline of service assurance which deals with availability and performance of your production application, right? So let's see why APM is an integral part of DevOps and it's a DevOps enabler, right? So if we go back to the tenets of DevOps, right? It's basically breaking the silos, collaboration, right? And quality product at much faster pace, right? So APM, it's a production monitoring tool, right? And operations uses it, and operation uses it all the time. And there are companies where you cannot deploy an application software without a proper monitoring, right? It provides operations with deep insight and visibility, right? So if we can bring that same deep insight and visibility to development, application development. So application developers, when they check in their code, their new build, they can run their tests and they can immediately see the performance impact. And if there are any bad performance, they can use application performance management to get to the root cause quickly. So they are able to identify and fix the issue much before it goes into the production. And you're delivering a quality product to the production, right? A quality application to the production, which nicely ties to the DevOps, one of the tenets of DevOps, which is, quality product, right? So that's why, application performance management is not only an integral part of DevOps, but also an enabler of DevOps, right? Now that we understand the value of application performance management and DevOps, wouldn't it be nice if APM and CI, continuous integration, they all work together? So for example, application developer checks in the code, right? Instead of going to APM to manually see the performance of the code that's been checked in, if they have a continuous integration tool like Jenkins, and that does automatically check the performance of the application and marks the build as pass or fail, if the integration is there, then not only we get the quality that comes from application performance management, but also the velocity that CI brings as part of its automation, right? So again, once again, nicely ties to the tenets of DevOps, where you're not only now delivering a quality product into the production, but also you are doing it at much faster pace. So we have CA APM Jenkins plugin, right? So we released it earlier this year. So basically, it collects all the performance information in your pre-production environment from APM, brings it to your Jenkins dashboard. So you can see a cross-build performance dashboard where you can compare your performance of different builds for application in different build, right? And then it automatically marks your build pass or fail based on the condition that you've set, right? And not only that, it's a two-way interaction. Not only it brings your application performance data into Jenkins, but also it publishes key attributes like build status, build number, etc. into APM. and that would allow your APM administrator to know exactly what the status of the build is, right, without going over and asking somebody. So let's go through a workflow, right? So developer checks in the code with the new functionality, right? And as soon as the code is checked in, Jenkins pulls it in and then builds the workspace, right? And it runs the test. So data from your application test is brought over into Jenkins by CA APM Jenkins plugin. Now, based on the condition that you've set, it automatically marks the build as pass or fail, right? And then you get a notification. It also generates a notification related to the build status, right? And then it publishes all these key attributes like build status, build number into APM. So with this, with the integration, CA APM Jenkins integration, not only you're delivering a quality product into the production environment, but also at a much, much faster pace. So there are a couple of Jenkins screen. This is your configuration. UI, very basic. You provide some basic information about where your enterprise manager is, what port it's listening on, things like that, very basic. And then this is the cross-build performance dashboard that I was talking about. So you can see that as soon as the build failed, it shows up on the cross-build performance dashboard. There is a reason. It publishes the reason for marking a particular build as fail. And then you can actually, from your cross-build performance dashboard, you can jump over to Web View, right, in context. These are the key APM attributes or key build attribute that CA APM Jenkins publishes on the APM. So build status and build fail. So your APM administrator knows exactly what the status of the build is. Okay, and you get a notification about the status of your build, right? So CA commissioned a study, commissioned a report with Forrester, where it interviewed a number of companies who adopted APM in their pre-production environment. And basically what they found out was these organizations were able to accelerate the problem resolution by 90% and accelerate their application development by 15%, mainly because application developers are producing quality product, they are delivering quality build, and they are able to focus more on what's important to them. They're able to focus more on their features and functionality, right? So in summary, what we've seen is that when it comes to DevOps, application performance management or APM is not only an integral part of DevOps, but it's also a DevOps enabler. Thank you very much.